Innovative viewers, welcome to Golden Age Technology on Supreme Master Television. Today we will present the second and final part of our interview with Australian marine biologist and adventurer, Mr. Lloyd Godson. Mr. Godson received the prestigious Australian Geographic Adventurer of the Year award in 2007 for his pioneering work on the BioSUB underwater human habitat, which we introduced on last week's episode. One of his many new fascinating ventures is called Life Amphibious, a human-powered submarine.
Life Amphibious is the latest of our projects. We conceived the idea pretty much after we finished the BioSUB project, and we wanted to push our boundaries again with something unique in the marine environment. So we came up with the idea of a human-powered submarine expedition in Greece. So we approached the University of Quebec in Montreal, and they have a school of higher technology who has developed 7 human-powered submarines up until now, and we asked them if they would like to bring OMA 6, which is their one-person non-propeller submarine, to Greece for this expedition. And this has only ever been really attempted in swimming pools over a 100-metre race course before. So we wanted to try and push the limits a bit, and we proposed an expedition which would follow the last leg of Ulysses from the famous Greek myth, from Corfu down to Ithaca.
Wow. And
the trip that we've just completed now was the first phase of this, or a test phase if you like, to see if this trip would be feasible. And after a week of trying things in the Greek Sea, we have come to the conclusion that it is possible. So we're going to proceed with the second phase, the larger trip. We had some problems to resolve along the way, which is of course expected. We had some engineering challenges, mainly to do with how to navigate underwater when you don't have any reference point. So we came up with some ways of getting around that, and we had a fairly successful week in the end. And now they will bring OMA 7 next year, which is their latest generation of submarine. It's a 2-person human-powered submarine without a propeller, using 2 big penguin flippers on the side. The concept here is using anything other than a propeller to move the submarine through the water. So in this case they have 2 big fins on the side of the submarine, which work much like a penguin. They sort of move up and down. So as I'm pedaling the submarine, it works much like a bicycle. I lock my feet into pedals and I pedal like crazy, and as a result these wings move up and down and they propel the submarine forward. I'm laying face down basically with my head in a clear bubble at the front. Okay. It's very tight. I have up and down steering with my left hand and left and right steering with my right hand. My feet are backwards and pedaling, so as I'm pedaling I'm trying to keep the submarine more or less straight. So it's quite an awkward position at first, but after some time you get used to it, and it looks really nice because it looks a lot like a marine animal, a dolphin or something coming through the water.
Even before the expedition in the Greek Sea began, OMA 6 attracted a lot of attention. Mr. Godson describes his encounter with local Greek children during the project's first phase and his passion for getting the young generation interested in science and engineering.
When kids saw this thing coming up to the port, they were like, wow, what's that? They were running to the boat to see, and hopefully some kids saw this James Bond looking machine and thought I wouldn't mind trying to build one of those one day. The Life Amphibious is using human power to do something in an environmentally friendly way, and again it's just presenting the concept that perhaps marine transportation could be done in a more environmentally friendly way in the future. I'm not trying to make any big claims for now. It's just an innovative project to try and inspire youngsters to start thinking about the way that things could be done differently.
For their novelty and high-minded purpose in wishing to encourage children to learn more about their world through science and technology, Mr. Godson's projects have been noticed by some big names in the research world, such as the U.S. Space Agency, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA.
We had some attention from NASA for the BioSUB project. We had a bioengineer from there who helped me a lot with the design of the BioSUB systems, because he had spent a lot of time working on something similar with his job in NASA. For the life amphibious, we have a lot of interest from abroad, from media and sponsors and things like this. We have some really nice supportive sponsors, and they realised how unique the project is and the benefits to the schools in the Greek islands who don't get typically exposed to exciting things like this. So they also saw it as a very nice opportunity to partner up with us and support us.
After these brief messages, we'll be right back with more from our interview with the intrepid Mr. Lloyd Godson. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Eco-conscious viewers, welcome back to Golden Age Technology on Supreme Master Television. We're speaking with Mr. Lloyd Godson, an Australian marine biologist who was the winner of the 2007 Australian Geographic Adventure of the Year Award for staying 14 consecutive days in a self-sufficient and self-sustaining underwater habitat called BioSUB. His latest project is called Life Amphibious, a human-powered submarine, and Mr. Godson even has more fascinating endeavors on tap.
We have another project planned for Germany next April. But at the moment we're keeping it undercover, but at the end of the year we will announce the project. But again, it follows in theme with BioSUB and the Life Amphibious project. It has the same objectives, the same concepts. Yeah, it's a very exciting one. I think it's the most exciting one so far for us. And we have also the second part of the Life Amphibious coming up, which we've started to work on already. So this is the human-powered submarine trip from Corfu to Ithaca. And apart from that, we like to keep fit and push ourselves. We like to keep busy with lots of plans and activities.
Our interview with Lloyd Godson also touched on the topic of climate change. He shared his first-hand observations of the effects of climate change on our oceans and marine ecosystems.
As a marine biologist, did you see changes occurring in the sea?
For me, my trip to Antarctica was probably the biggest eye-opener for something like this. There was a larger than normal iceberg which had broken off, and it had prevented penguins from completing their migration and reaching their food source, basically. So there was a lot of concern that the colony, the emperor penguin colony, was going to starve because they wouldn't get their food for the year. And I guess, of course, we all see images of places like the North Pole, Greenland, and the rate of the ice cap melting there. But, you know, seeing something like that firsthand is very different than seeing it on TV or reading it on a newspaper or something like that. I studied in Australia, in Queensland, and I guess one of the biggest effects of climate change that we saw there when we were studying was the warming of the waters and the corals dying off. This is probably the most drastic change visible in Australia from a marine perspective. We have about 2,000 kilometres of Great Barrier Reef. Basically, without it, it would be pretty catastrophic. And there's signs that it's happening now, and they can predict already when the surface waters warm beyond a point that the corals eject their algae that support them from within, and they appear white, which is why it gets the name coral bleaching. And this, again, is something that you can very easily witness firsthand and understand the potential disaster of this. So I've seen it from the tropics and from the poles, and you see the effects on a pretty global scale. I'm convinced that climate change is occurring.
What steps can humanity as a whole and also as individuals take to address this issue?
I'm doing everything I can to combat that on the personal level, and then also trying to help encourage other people to think about doing things in a more efficient and environmentally friendly way. From my point of view, and with Carolina, we do everything we can, from driving less, trying to use our devices more efficiently or choosing more efficient devices. We're very active people, so if we have legs and we can use them, why not? We just try and maintain a healthy and fit and selfless lifestyle where we're thinking about not only how luxurious our life might be, we try and think about our kids and their kids and how we can do things in a way that the planet will still be nice enough for them to enjoy it in generations to come.
Do you have any message you want to convey to our viewers?
Yeah, I think the message that we've tried to get across to the kids through the projects is more or less, you know, not to let anyone tell you that your dreams aren't possible. I'm a big dreamer, for example. I'm always coming up with crazy ideas and crazy plans. Some of them work, some don't, but the point is that you know, I have followed through with a few of my dreams, and I know that although they seem impossible when you tell someone else, they can be done and can be achieved, and they can motivate other people to also make the world a better place. So yeah, I think that's probably the nicest, cleanest, easiest message to say, is just, you know, really to believe in yourself and follow your dreams, and the world will be a better place.
We thank Mr. Lloyd Godson for speaking with us about his inspiring endeavors such as the Life Amphibious Project and about climate change. We wish him the very best in his many green initiatives that not only get youngsters interested in science, but are also helping to create a more sustainable future for our only planetary home. For more details on Lloyd Godson and his projects, please visit www.biosub.com.au and www.lifeamphibious.com. Constructive viewers, thank you for joining us today on Golden Age Technology. Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living, is coming up next after noteworthy news. May we all be blessed with joy and wisdom.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/GAT.